Welcome to the Vanilla to Vixen podcast. This show contains adult content, so if you are under 18 or easily offended, please switch off now. Mr. and Mrs. N are not qualified relationship counsellors. This show is for entertainment purposes only. Now the disclaimer is out of the way. Sit back, relax, and enjoy our journey from Vanilla to Vixen.
Welcome to episode 157 of Vanilla to Vixen. We are your hosts, Mr. and Mrs. N, and we're also sometimes known as...
the Naughty Couple.
Hello, Mrs. N.
Hello, Mr. N.
What an exciting adventure we're going on this week.
I know! We're out and about again.
We are going to meet a sex coach. And this is exciting because I don't even know what a sex coach does.
No, me neither.
Do they stand at the bottom of the bed going, whoa, come on, give it some more, give it some more. You're almost there. You're at the Olympics, baby. I don't know.
I don't know either, but we're going to find out. But
before that, we've got some little stories for you and some other information and news of what's been happening this week.
Yeah.
So I guess we better start off with a little story that someone sent to me. He says, Mr. N had an exciting encounter this week.
Right.
He visited his first gay sauna.
Okay. Yeah.
And he wasn't sure. And he walked in and he thought, oh, I need the toilet. So he went into the toilet and he went to the urinal and a little midget came in next to him.
Right.
And he kept winking at him.
What, the midget winked at him?
He said it was all a new experience and he was a bit embarrassed, not sure what to do.
Yeah.
So he turned to him and he said, look, it's first time, I'm a bit nervous. I'm not sure about this. And the midget turned around and he went, I'm not winking at you. He said, you just keep splashing in my eye. Oh! There you go.
Be careful where you splash.
Exactly. Anyway, we move on.
Yes.
I have had a serious message this week from Pinky456.
Right.
Who's a guy.
Yeah.
And he said, Mr. N, in your search for the ultimate swinging club property for V2V, are you ready for this?
I am.
Palm Springs Nude Swingers Resort has gone on the market. The infamous swingers resort, steeped in X-rated history, has gone up for sale at an eye-watering £7.8 million.
Oh, is that all?
It's an exotic dream resort in the luxurious Palm Springs and it seeks new ownership. It says, Mr. N, you could just have it all in one. It's a swingers club ready to go. From the outside, it may look like a perfectly nice, normal... What do you mean, perfectly normal, nice hotel? Why isn't it a swingers club enough? You see, here we go with mainstream media. This is from the Daily Star.
Oh, right.
So it's shite again.
Yeah.
It says, the luxurious Palm Springs area of California is actually hiding a raunchy secret, being the resort of one of the world's most infamous nude swingers clubs. The exotic Dream Resort's clothing optional policy attracted curious couples from around the world, but the swinging destination is now looking for a new owner as it's been listed on the market for a whopping $10.5 million. But anyone with a few million lying around and looking for a spicy and new investment, you won't have any issues with the damp or plumbing, with this motel boasting 40 newly renovated rooms, a sparkling pool and an adult play maze.
Wow.
There you go.
Cool.
All I'm short of is the 8 million.
mere problem. Just a smidgen of a problem.
But have no fear.
Oh.
Because we've had another message sent to us this week.
Somebody planning on giving us £8 million?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
The EU.
Right. Okay.
I'm not going political.
Right.
Don't panic. But the EU is handing money out, left, right and centre to swingers clubs.
What?
Yeah, that's correct. So this was sent to me by a young lady who's Polish. And she lives in the UK, and she sent as an email, and she said, Mr. N, are you aware of the news that doesn't seem to be at all in the UK mainstream media news? Surprise, surprise, because obviously it's quite I guess critical of the EU, so none of our news outlets are sort of printing it.
Yeah.
It says Warsaw has halted payments to investigate the reported misuse of multi-million pound EU grants. Poland has suspended the distribution of EU funds intended for post-COVID pandemic recovery in the hospitality and tourism sectors.
Okay.
Following controversy over alleged misuse of the money. Some of the funds were spent on boats, yachts, luxury furniture. Are you ready? Ready? Are you ready, Mrs. N? As well as grants registered to the address of a swingers club. This is from the Politico website. The scandal erupted after the Polish authorities published interactive online maps displaying grant recipients in a bid to showcase the openness of the recovery programme. However, it revealed that the funds bankrolled yachts, a pizzeria that, when investigated, had tanning beds.
Right.
That's what you want. You want a pizza and a tanning bed.
Tan at the same time. Who wouldn't?
And in one case, a business in southern Poland registered at the same address as a sex swingers club.
Oh, hey.
So, Donald Tusk, if you're listening.
Yeah, we need a bit of money.
There you go. That's the news for this week.
Wow. Well, before we jump in the car, we need to let the listeners know of the next events coming up, Mr. N.
We do. So,
I mean, tomorrow
is our big one. It's the big summer V2V party.
It is.
At Liberty Elite in Leicestershire. Beautiful venue. The weather's going to be hot. Mm-hmm. The guest list is going to be even hotter. And it's going to be fun stroke carnage.
It is. It is. It's going to be really, really good. There are rumours that there may be paddling pool.
Really?
And large twister.
Oh my goodness.
I think this may be a little bit better than your volleyball last year.
Twister on the lawn.
Yeah.
I think that does sound exciting.
It does, doesn't it?
Volleyball, I'm not sure that worked.
It didn't really.
It was fun watching the boobies bouncing around. But then it all got a little bit energetic and it was hot and no.
Yeah, it's going to be epic as always.
It is going to be chaos. The guest list is massive.
No surprises there.
Saucy keeps writing to me on emails and messages going, put the bloody pen down. People keep messaging. I can't stop them.
Oh, honestly.
Anyway, as well as the big summer party.
Yes.
We've got some amazing dates. That one might be a little bit too soon for you. And the guest list's full anyway.
Exactly. Yeah. Saucy, it's full. It's been told there's no more additions.
Unless we have any cancellations.
Well, that's true.
So messages on Fab Swingers, there might be a cancellation. Send me a message. Fab Swingers, there might be a cancellation. Or email. You know the address. Anyway, that's v2v.uk. v2v.uk. Anyway, if that's too soon for you.
It is, because it's like 24 hours.
Last minute. If that's too soon, don't panic. We've got some amazing events coming up in September. We are all over the place again.
We are.
In September. We begin on Saturday, the 13th of September. It is our V2V chocolate and chill party.
I know.
At Liberty Elite.
It involves chocolate.
That's all you need to say, really.
Exactly.
Chocolate.
Come and eat chocolate and chill out.
Chocolate and chill. Can't complain at that. So we've got a chocolate and chill party on Saturday the 13th of September at Liberty Elite. That is for couples and single ladies only because it's Saturday and it's at Liberty Elite. Then we've got Friday the 26th of September. We are back at the Purple Mamba Club in Nottingham.
I honestly, Chris and Amanda are obviously completely off their heads.
Suckers for punishment.
Definitely.
And this is going to be naughty.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one.
This is going to be a naughty party. It's gangsters and dolls.
Yeah.
So if you are Bonnie and Clyde...
or The Godfather.
The Godfather, I might go Cuban. Cuban, baby. Say hello to my little friend. I quite fancy going Cuban. You could go as a Cuban gangster.
Do you want me to sit there rubbing cigars on my thighs?
Yes. like a busty maiden. Is that what they call it? I don't know.
I don't know, dear.
So yes, any type of gangster you might fancy, like coming as a character from a Guy Ritchie film or Quentin Tarantino, Pulp Fiction.
Bugsy Malone.
You could come as Vincent Vega and Marcellus Wallace.
Oh.
You know, do the whole like dancing thing.
Yeah.
Mrs. Wallace, do you remember when they did the whole...
They did, yeah.
Pulp Fiction? Yeah. You could come as yeah. Oh, this is going to be epic.
I think I'm going to go as a flapper.
Well, I was going to say something. F for an S at the start of that.
Cheeky. Honestly, as in the 1920s.
Flapper girls.
A flapper girl.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
We're very popular with the gangsters.
I've not made my mind up yet. It's all too exciting. If you can't make Friday the 26th of September at Purple Mamba or Saturday the 13th of September at Chocolate and Chill at Liberty Elite, there's one more date. We are doing it's not a weekend. We're doing a one-off party on Friday the 3rd of October at... Are you ready for it? It's a Velvet Vixen party.
It is.
At Kate's Hill House Hotel in Worcestershire.
Yes.
And that's going to be all super sexy and nice dress, Velvet Vixen style.
Just to double check on that one, it literally is the Friday only. We're not doing the full weekend this time.
No, we're just doing the Friday. So that will be couples, single ladies, and just a few selected single guys.
Absolutely.
You can find all the information for all of these parties on v2v.uk. That's v2v.uk. The 3rd of October date at Velvet Vixen at Kate's Hill House has only just been added to our diary, so we will get that on the website sometime next week.
Yeah. And just to let you guys know that the event at Purple Mamba and the Kate's Hill House are both prepay events.
Yes.
So first of all, you need to get your names on the guest list.
Yeah.
And then you need to buy your tickets. Just before we jump into the car, Mr. N.
Oh, don't keep me waiting. I'm excited to see the sex coach.
I know, but Mrs. Mother Trucker has something she needs to tell you.
It's that time.
It is. It's Fun Fact Friday.
Fun Fact Friday.
Penguins have been known to push a fellow penguin into the water to check to see if the area is safe and free from predators.
Do you know what? This natural world malarkey, it's a tough deal out there.
I think that happens at swingers clubs.
How?
Well, I've seen ladies pushing other ladies into the playrooms. Are there any decent guys in there? Go and have a look.
You check out first. So, Mr. N, the car's packed.
2, 4, 6, 8. Who do you appreciate? We're going to see the sex coach. Here we are in the centre of Nottingham, which is absolutely beautiful. You might hear the clock chiming, the big clock.
We're surrounded by the most amazing buildings.
The architecture is beautiful. I'm not looking out the window too much because I'm not a fan of heights.
We're currently sitting on the 6th floor and Mr. N does not do heights.
No, I'm not looking out the window. We're okay, we're doing well. And I'm here with the amazing Lee-Ann Cordingley.
Hello.
We're very excited.
We're super excited. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on the podcast.
It's great. Thanks for inviting me.
Oh, our pleasure. So we actually got to meet you only a few weeks ago, wasn't it?
You were wearing a few more feathers when I saw you.
Oh, no, it wasn't feathers. It was rhinestones.
Really?
Yeah, I don't have any feathers poking anywhere yet. Not yet. Never say never, you know.
So for the listeners, it was our 70s night that we did at the Purple Mamba.
Yeah.
And Lee-Ann very kindly agreed to do some burlesque for us, didn't you? 1970s style, because you were actually dressed as a glitter ball.
I am. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm not now, for the benefit of your listeners. I'm currently the UK's only giant disco ball burlesque act. Gets a little bit of attention, which is lovely, but you can't travel well with it on public transport, you know.
I can imagine.
A little bit big.
I can imagine.
And I did feel for you that night because it was so warm, wasn't it, that evening?
Yeah, and that's the other thing that you need to know about that costume. It's like wearing Bako foil.
Really?
Wow.
So performing it in the summer is great. It's great. Do you remember the film Full Monty when he sits in his chair wrapped in cling film eating a Mars bar?
Yeah.
That's me in that costume. I'm like, can I take it off?
Well, because you did a couple of sets, didn't you, that evening, which were, in fact, we were very lucky. We got front row seats, didn't we, Mr.
Amazing.
It was fabulous. How did you get into doing burlesque?
Do you know, I always used to go and watch a burlesque show in Nottingham. It was on twice a year, without a fail. As soon as the tickets were released, we would snap them up, we would go, and I would watch these people on the stage, all ages, body shapes, colours, creeds, everything.
Yeah.
The confidence on that stage is next level. And I remember one time I said to my husband, I'm going to be on that stage one day. You know, one of those bucket list things?
Yeah.
I need to do this one day. And I kind of put it off. And one day I thought, I'm not getting any younger, because none of us are. So I booked a burlesque class. I went to go, and then I thought, no, I'm actually just going to get a private teacher, I think, and just really, really go hard on it, go hard, go home. That's what she said. And then COVID. Yay. But then actually fast forward a couple of years, and then I thought, no, I need to do this. Did a Google search for burlesque classes in Nottingham, which is where I live, and there was a course starting the following day. Wow. And as soon as I tried it, I thought, yeah, this is great.
You looked very at home on stage.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's my flow, to be honest. You know, when somebody might be into running or yoga and their brain clears and they're in the moment.
Yeah.
If I'm performing, that's where I am. Like some people will say, do you remember so-and-so did this and this lady did this, and I'll be like, nope, not a clue. Yeah. Because I'm in a zone, and it's great.
Do you remember the 1970s space hopper popping?
I do, actually. Strange you should mention that. Yes, yeah.
It was almost in time to the music.
It was. The musicality was chef's kiss, wasn't it? It was great.
Well, you know, some people have fireworks. Kristen Manor had a popping space hopper for you.
Absolutely, yeah. So for the benefit of the listeners, there was an audience member who was sat on a space hopper, which burst.
Yes.
And I'm so very glad they didn't hurt themselves.
I think you just must have excited him that much.
Well, it happened.
So for the listeners that don't know what burlesque is, could you give them a little bit of background information, what it kind of represents, what it's about?
Sure, yeah. Well, burlesque is quite an old art form. It's performance, it's dance, it's movement, but it's also very, 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 very rooted in sexuality and tease and the art of anticipation. I'm very inspired personally by the idea of the courtesan. So some people can think, burlesque, it's just striptease. No, it's not. Yes, clothes do get off and they get thrown around. But the point is the anticipation and the tease of it. And yes, I'm taking a glove off, and how long I'm going to take to take the glove off. Oh, there's fingers in here. It's humour. It's about body confidence.
There's almost an element of storytelling to it as well, though, isn't there?
Yeah, and that's actually an area of burlesque that is my favourite. Actually, coming up with the concept of the whole act, because it's not about the song, it's not about the costume, it's not about the dance, because I wouldn't say I'm a dancer. I am a performer, yes, but I'm not a dancer. It's not about the movements, it's about the whole concept and telling a story, and so to some degree it does get very political.
Yeah.
So in my most recent act I've created, it's called The Pleasure Principle. So my stage name is Sasha LeSwank, and the act is The Pleasure Principle, and I'm taking on the role of a teacher, talking about why pleasure matters.
Cool.
And it is cool, actually. It's really cool. I have a lot of fun with it. It's really fun. Yeah, there's a good prop with that one as well. So,
I've obviously been in music and things for many, many years, and I've got to say, yours was like a proper cabaret. It was just proper, like you say, storytelling, cabaret, it was like watching a show.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's what I got from it, from watching it. And I was just like glued to it. I just thought it was awesome. Absolutely awesome.
I love that. Thank you for saying that. No, my why of it, because yes, I'm on a stage or in a performance area, and yes, I'm chucking my kit around, but it's not, for me, it's not really a vanity thing.
Yeah.
For me, it's, you've got all these eyes on you. I like to think of how these people feel, and I like my audience to leave feeling like, oh my God, that was great. I feel so happy. I feel so happy. And you can see it in people's faces. Yeah. And I always make a point of asking people how they feel afterwards, because, how did this make you feel? Because there are some burlesque acts that, quite shocking in different degrees.
Yes.
But you're right, it's all about a storytelling. It's a journey, 3-5 minutes. What's the intention of this? What am I telling the story of? That's
quite a gift to have, that you for such a short space of time to be able to transport people into a story.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a talent.
Yeah. And like I say, I do like to, everything I do is with intention.
Yeah.
So I have another act which is called Once Upon a Time, and I said I wasn't going to make any more big costumes, but this happens. But I made myself into a giant book. So I came out with mystery, and this woman is told that she has to dumb her pleasure down and she has to wait. And as she opens the pages of the book, the pages get more opaque until she's just in her underwear, and then she's all joyous and happy and la 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 la, and then the corset comes off, the bra comes off. Yeah, so it is a storytelling, and that's part of the character development.
Yeah.
So I came out full of mystery and darkness and intrigue, and then gradually as you go through, it's a
kind
lightening,
of like stripping all that away to be the person that you want to be.
It can almost be like a live music video.
Yes.
Like music videos came out in the 80s, and obviously the first ones, some of them were really cool and they told stories.
Right.
Yeah.
And so to me, it's almost like a live music video.
Right. Absolutely.
I just think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant.
There are some great burlesque performers. We're so blessed in the UK, and it's a dying art. But yeah, it's very, very interesting. And the venue where we met, it's perfect, because I know that a lot of your audience are new to going to clubs like that, or might think that they want to go. So sometimes there's a lot of nerves, but it's a great icebreaker.
It is.
You see someone chucking their kit around, and then all of a sudden everyone's relaxed.
It is. It's funny, isn't it? Because when you kind of put yourself in that environment and you see somebody else like yourself with the confidence, that actually transports onto yourself.
Yes.
And it's almost like before you know it, you're just like, well, I feel like I could, whip the old clothes off, and away you go.
Yeah.
So it is amazing for all those people that wouldn't dream of sort of watching or feeling a little uncomfortable that somebody is removing clothing items and down to the bare minimum. All of a sudden, you kind of forget about that bit. You do lose yourself in it, and you almost like you feel like you are part of it.
But that's the thing, Mrs. N, because you are. Because if you have a burlesque performance, you can stand and watch somebody performing burlesque, but it only works if the audience interact.
Yeah.
So I try and keep in my mind when I'm performing, I see you looking at me, I'm looking at you looking at me. So it is an interaction.
Yeah.
It's a reciprocal energy.
It's almost instilling that feeling of naughtiness.
Yes, that's exactly right.
You feel naughty, like I shouldn't be watching this, but I notice you make eye contact with the audience.
That's very deliberate.
I know.
It's very deliberate. for all burlesque performers, not just me, but for me, especially in terms of my day work, everything I do is about it's permission giving.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm taking my kit off and I'm looking right at you, and yes, you can look at me. Look.
And that instills that feeling of naughtiness in the audience.
Yes, and it's freeing.
Yeah.
And it's freeing. And this is very often what I find with my clients in my day work, that just giving them permission to enjoy their bodies and to experience their pleasure in whatever flavour that is very, very transformative.
That brings us on nicely, because obviously your day job is, well, I don't know, is it very different? So what is your day job? Tell us what your day job is.
Well, I have many plates that I spin, but my official title is I'm a certified sex coach and clinical sexologist, and I'm also a yoga teacher.
Okay.
So a sex coach, it does sometimes get a little bit confused with a sex therapist. Very often I'm introduced as a sex therapist.
Yeah. Okay, I don't know the difference, so you know. Okay,
many don't. So the difference being that if you go into a therapist will, and I'm not a therapist, but so I'm just generalising.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Will look back. Well, what's caused these issues? Let's untangle these things.
Find the root.
Let's find the root.
Yeah.
Let's fix it.
Yeah.
Whereas a coach will say, right, this is where we are now. And while history and previous experience has influenced where we are now, and we need to have knowledge of that, we're not unpicking it. We're not changing anything that's past. This is where we are now. Where do you want to get to? Let's go. Let's make a plan. Let's go.
That sounds actually more positive.
Very much more positive. Because I would have thought with a sex therapist, you always have to relive what you've been through before you can move on. So
they're different jobs, aren't they?
Entirely.
Yeah.
Different jobs.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. I wouldn't have known any of the difference between a therapist and a sex coach. So
how do people know if they need a coach, do you think?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think if somebody's needing to have therapy, and I'm a massive advocate of talking therapies in all their guises.
Yeah.
Perhaps they might have some trauma around that. They might feel real deep shame, and there can be shame involved when somebody enters into a coaching relationship in this way. But situations or memories that kind of feel like they're stored in the body or might cause upset or really are interfering with their day-to-day life, like in a big way, then that's when perhaps they might need therapy. And when I work with a new client, that's one of the first things I'm looking for. Because if I deem that somebody needs to have therapy, I can't serve them.
Yeah.
And I'm lucky enough because I'm quite active on the networking scene, and I'm fortunate enough that I know some fantastic people who work in that realm and in other realms as well. But if I deem that somebody perhaps isn't quite ready for a coaching relationship, I know that I can refer that person to somebody that I trust. And when they've unpicked or when they've processed what they need to process, then they might be ready for coaching, and then come knock on my door again. That's absolutely fine. But I don't want to enter into a coaching relationship and potentially cause them more issues,
Absolutely, yeah.
Because my thing is to help people feel great.
And do you coach couples, or do you coach individually, or is it both?
It's both, actually. I tend to work more with individuals, but I do work with couples as well, and that's really, really fun, I have to say. And also in groups as well, group settings.
Yeah.
But with every single session that I work with, whether that's individual or coaching or group work or anything like that, it always involves an element of re-education. Because when you think about it, who actually taught you how to have sex?
That is such a good question, because you're right. I mean, you go into it by thinking you know what you should be doing.
There will be, and I'm going to say something now, which I know you're going to, which is a fault in modern society. There's going to be 1,000 Generation Z listeners going Pornhub.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this is the thing, because and I have gone into schools and spoken on this before. Yeah. But each of us receive messaging about sex, we're sexual beings, even from in the womb.
Yeah.
You know? But we gradually learn that, well, this feels really nice if I rub against the table leg or something like that, but we gradually, oh, no, don't do that. That's not nice. Don't do that.
Yeah.
You know, perhaps if you have daughters, close your legs, wearing a skirt. You can say it to your sons.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff, those kind of messaging things.
Yeah.
And then maybe we might progress to asking parent, carer, mummy, daddy, like, you know, what's this about the birds and the bees?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the parent's like, oh, I'm so embarrassed, I don't know what to say.
Yeah. You see, I didn't even we literally had the Book of Sex on the bookshelf.
The Joy of Sex.
The Joy of Sex, not the Book of Sex. The Joy of Sex, it was proper 1970s full thing. And it was like when mum and dad went out, it was the first thing you grabbed to look at the pictures. Yeah. And that was it. That was the education.
Yeah. But if you're picking up this book, and you've said yourself, Mrs. N, that you wait till your mum and dad go out.
Yeah.
You've already been given a message that it's wrong, or it shouldn't be spoken about, or if a parent talks to you about it and they're embarrassed, the young person or the child is going to, or mum's feeling uncomfortable, so therefore there must be something wrong with this.
So true.
Then the information goes to, well, how do we learn? We learn from our friends who might have found magazines in the dad's shed. And mums, you know, other parents are available, but they might have found porn magazines.
And let's be honest, young boys, your mates at the time, probably not the best people to take advice from. I know some of my teenage friends, probably not the best. Sorry if any of them are listening.
No, you're great, you carry on.
Isn't it? You've got that bravado as a teenage boy. Yeah. So, you know, things are getting exaggerated. Yeah. So it's not really a good idea. That's not a good way to learn, really.
No. And then, of course, we move on to, like, you know, porn videos, or like you say, like, you know, Pornhub or something like that. And mainstream porn is generally made for the male eye.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, you know, I know the women are in there making all kinds of noises. Are they having fun? Probably not. So we've got this kind of whole storyline from, you know, this kind of it's not okay, leading all the way up to like magazines, friends, porn. Yeah. But we're getting information all the time, even from politics and from religion and from culture. But what I tend to think is that everybody is stimulated in their own way, and it's perfectly normal to be stimulated visually by seeing something that's sexually relevant. Yeah. The porn kind of like Playboy kind of era has kind of fed through into everything, even into Coronation Street even. Yeah. You know, think about how you might imagine a romance scene in a film. You know, the man's typically taller, looms over the woman, she bends back, so therefore the man must be, you know, more, you know, prominent physically. And it's not so great, you know, for body image perceptions. Yeah. What you should do, because we go into having sex with people believing that we should already know what we're doing. Yeah. And we should be great lovers. Because, you know, of course we're going to be a great lover. Yeah, yeah. But it's kind of like watching The Fast and Furious and expecting to know how to drive.
That's a brilliant analogy.
Yeah. You know, I mean, I can't claim that as my own. I wish I could, but that's not my own analogy. So yeah, it's who actually taught you how to have sex. Because in schools, don't get pregnant. Yeah. Don't get an STI. Yep. Don't have sex outside of marriage. That kind of thing. Yeah. Don't have sex with somebody of the same sex, of the same gender. Yeah, yeah. So nobody, I don't know how it was for you both, but nobody spoke to me about, it's for pleasure.
Extremely limited.
Absolutely, what you've just described was my introduction to it. I mean, a friend of mine and myself, sex education classes when you're 13, we nearly got thrown out because they did the one about the male penis and erections and everything. And we were schoolgirls. We giggled because we'd never been.
I'd still giggled, to be honest.
Exactly.
And I'm a a professional.
Exactly. But that was almost like how we dealt with it, because it was almost that little bit embarrassing. So you giggle about it because it was like, well, because it's like you say, nobody talks about her. It's just one of those things. Whereas nowadays,
and even going back a few years, when our daughter was in primary school, as parents, it was a very, very small school. And there was only about 8 or 9 children in her whole year. So it was, a few farmers in the class, and that was about it. But that school was very old-fashioned in as much as they had a video to play to the kids. And the teacher invited the parents in first to watch the video and said, this is what we're going to show. And then they said, at one stage of the video, we're going to fast forward this bit. And it was actually the bit about probably a gory scene of a woman giving birth. And all the parents were like, no, you show that bit. You don't cut that bit out, because that's the bit that if you do it wrong leads to something that you don't want.
It's just like, if you're going to teach them how to do it, you need to tell them what the consequences are if they don't,
But it was almost like missing that part out. And that, for us, that didn't feel like a full education. Of sex education.
Although I did learn a lot, because in her video it actually showed you different positions, and it was like, well, I didn't get that in my day. Me and Mr. N making notes.
Writing Put a pin in that one for later.
But it's interesting, because even like years later, and we're talking 2000s and
I don't know,
about 2014, a bit further on. Our daughter was still you couldn't discuss it, even though myself and Mr. N are very open about that. Not necessarily because of obviously the hobby that we're in, but the fact that we're very tactile people, aren't we? We're very affectionate, and we've always wanted our kids to be able to feel comfortable to talk to us about anything, even to the point where she's reading a book. If there's a slightly sexual content in this book, she'll flip over it.
Okay.
And that on the other hand then worries me, because it's like, no, I don't want you to be embarrassed or almost afraid of that. I want you to learn. I want you to have the tools so you can understand it. Because when you do it with the right person, it's the most amazing thing in the world.
Absolutely. And I think you make a great point in that, my reference earlier to to the talk, inverted commas, speech marks, the birds and the bees, it's never just one conversation. It's a continuous conversation, because sex is actually part of life, and we don't have sex just to procreate. It's fun. That's why we do it. If it wasn't pleasurable, we wouldn't do it. But that's an element that's also missed out. You referencing the labour being missed out on this video. Pleasure seems to also be missed out as well. Thinking about myself as a yoga teacher, I've been teaching yoga since a long time.
You look amazing on it, my lovely.
It's all the yoga and the snacks. So not very often, if you go to a yoga class, we spoke earlier, Mrs. N, about breathing exercises. So a yoga teacher might instruct a breathing exercise, and they might talk about using diaphragmatic breathing. Not very many of them would talk about using the pelvic floor while you're breathing, which is a key part of your breathing mechanism. Even fewer would mention that yes, pelvic floor exercises are fantastic for, helping your urinary tract, your breathing mechanism. Even fewer would say that actually helps your sexual pleasure. And to me, it's kind of like a donut approach.
Your teaching almost crosses over then.
Absolutely.
That's so cool.
I mean, we were chatting before we started to record, and didn't realise that how much yoga can help with regards to sex.
But I'd imagine that's quite unique as you as a teacher, because you've got those other tools. You've got yoga there in your sort of tool locker to bring that in, which I'd imagine that's quite a unique thing. Are there many sex coaches in the country?
I'm not entirely sure how many there are, actually. The school that I studied with, my own yoga teacher said to me once, if you want to learn something new, as far as you possibly can, go to source. So I specifically went to the school of Dr. Patty Britton, who is the pioneer of sex coaching. There was no sex coaching.
Wow.
If anybody wants to Google Dr. Patty Britton, she's an amazing human being. And so I studied with her school.
Yeah.
But I know that there are other schools that teach about sex coaching, and certainly in the UK, there are lots of regulated bodies who teach around, somatic sexology.
Yeah.
And of course, the sector, the wellbeing sector that we're in, I would, if anybody is looking for any kind of support in terms of sex coaching, it's one of those, go to somebody reputable.
What kind of issues or things can you deal with as a sex coach?
Okay.
What would be on your advertising?
Okay, so the main thing that I speak with somebody about, whether they are male or female, is generally always body image and confidence.
Okay.
And the other thing that's really important to mention is that whatever somebody wants coaching around, whether it might be a guy might say to me that they are having problems with their erection, or they are, early ejaculation. A woman might she might have trouble with reaching orgasm, or pain in sex, or they might be wanting to explore something a little bit out of the ordinary, like swinging or kink or BDSM. Whatever one person comes to me with, there's generally a couple of things going on. So, for example, if I'm speaking with a male client about issues around their erection, there's very likely there might be some early ejaculation. There might even be some late ejaculation, going at it, nothing's happening.
Yeah.
There might even be issues around body image, because, like I say, porn does... that kind of that style of porn does affect, because I've worked with young adults in their early 20s who have told me that they struggle with sex because they don't have a six-pack and they don't have a dick that looks like the size of an arm. So it's not just females. Labiaplasty, where women have their labia trimmed to make them more aesthetically pleasing. It's not just females who this is affected by. So porn, nothing wrong with it at all, but just source it properly. And a great place for that is a website called Make Love Not Porn, which is a great resource for people.
I've got to say as well, I'm going to give a heads up to a lady we had on the podcast probably about 6 months ago, a lady called Inka Winter.
Okay.
Nice.
Inka Winter, INKA, Inka Winter, and she is a female porn producer, and she literally is completely independent, does her own films.
Amazing.
In America.
She does porn for women.
Sure.
So, although when you say it's for women, it's obviously there are guys involved in it. It's just, whereas the standard porn, it's usually, like you said, male focused.
Yes.
This is the other way around.
Sure.
And we were lucky enough to watch some of her work, and it is incredibly sexy.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
Incredibly sexy.
And she's so personal that she came on the podcast, explained why she did it, and her story is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
And just a heads up to Inka, bless her, she's listening. Because,
that's lovely.
Yeah, it's and hearing you say it just emphasises so much. The thing when we started V2V and when we went to our first club, it was so eye-opening. You leave this society where it's male-dominated, and you walk through the doors of a club for the very first time, and straight away you're told, women rule here. Women are in charge. And it's just it's refreshing. And as a guy, I almost felt like a weight was lifted off me.
I love that you said that.
Because it's like, okay, I can kind of sit back now.
I love that you said that. Because I've worked with quite a few male clients. I mean, I pitch myself as wanting to help women. I'm about women's empowerment and women's pleasure, but that's not to say I'm a man hater, because I am not.
But this girl power got abused somewhere along the line, didn't it?
Yes.
Because true women empowerment. My mum was definitely girl power. She ran her own business in the 1980s.
Wow.
She was a power woman.
Great.
But it didn't mean that she hated men at all.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I personally, I believe that feminism isn't about women are better than men. That's just a load of old bobbins. We must exist in a balance. You know, sun, moon, light, dark, yin, yang. You know, here I am being a yoga pusher again. But we have to have the balance.
Yeah.
And what I have experienced with working with, you know, I pitch towards talking to women, to helping women, but my message very, very often lands with heterosexual males. Specifically, you know, on LinkedIn, you know, I get a lot of, I get a lot of inquiries that come indirectly through LinkedIn from heterosexual males who want to be a better partner for their wife, girlfriend, you know, whatever. And I hear so often, I wish she could see herself through my eyes so that she could see how sexy she is, how beautiful she is. I wish she would initiate more. I wish she would tell me what she likes in bed. I wish she would, I know this whole thing, I'd like be more adventurous, but she doesn't know what she wants. I would love for my wife to wear suspenders, stockings, you know, sorry, that's very, very stereotypical, but that kind of thing. But these men that I'm working with, they're wanting to improve their sex life. Yeah. But they're switched on enough to know that sex is infinitely better if your partner's really into it.
We've had the same thing where we've had messages from people where you could see that they're genuinely connected to their partner and there's a love there for them, but there's this tremendous frustration.
Yeah. It's almost like it's getting that communication going, isn't it? It's because a lot of people, even though they may have amazing relationships, they just can't seem to get that communication right. And one thing we've learned since being in the hobby and doing the podcast is the more you communicate with each other, the more amazing it is.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. If you, especially within the lifestyle, if you are not willing to sit with the uncomfortable feelings or the uncomfortable conversations, you're not going to experience it to the fullness that you could do, and that is only through communication. And I fully agree with what you say, and I know I was listening to one of your podcasts before and you were saying how communication is key. I was like, yes, Mrs. N, 100%. And you, Mr. N, like, leave your judgment at the door. Absolutely, because everybody has their own set of messaging that they've received. You know, you have your own canvas of perspective that you've received from, I don't know, ex-partners, from teachers, from friends, from films that you've watched. Everybody has their own perspective. And you know, certainly as a sex coach, it is not I wouldn't go very far if I yucked somebody else's yum, you know.
I love that.
Again, it's not my analogy. I really wish I could claim it as my own. But during my training, you're deliberately exposed to things to deliberately push your buttons. Okay. Yeah. So different types of porn, different types of media, different types, you know, body shape, sizes, even able-bodied versus, you know, disabled. I'm unsure if I've just used the politically correct term. I'm sorry if I've offended anybody. But you're subjected to, that sounds really awful, it's called a SAR, sexual readjustment, sexual attitude readjustment, so that you can really identify what it is that you're like, oh no, that's too much for me, too much, you know. So certain kind of kink media, like some of my fellow delegates, they were like, whoa, I could not watch that. You know, it's designed to help you find out what it is that presses your button, because if somebody comes through your door and they happen to be into that thing that presses your button, you really, really shouldn't work with them. Because you are going to reinforce any any unhelpful feelings that they might have about it, like shame, guilt.
I feel like I'm sat here and you've just totally unravelled me. I feel naked. So I'll tell you what was going through. So we went to something called Birmingham Bazaar.
Okay.
Birmingham Bazaar, and it's for kink and fetish, and it's amazing. And there's kind of like 3 stories in an old nightclub, it happens in the daytime on a Sunday, and there's all little stall holders that do all fetish and kink things. It's amazing, isn't it?
It's fabulous.
Again, we did a podcast about it, and we went to one particular little sort of stall where they were doing pin needle work, literally human corsets. I literally just went, oh, no way. I've got sort of a history, a medical history, which I'll actually tell you. I had cancer when I was 12. So I did 12 months of chemotherapy. Obviously at 12, 13 years old, it's quite an impressionable age.
Yeah.
And so needles are just a huge no-no for me.
Sure.
So I bet you sitting there as a coach can instantly know where that's coming from.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, but at the time, I was like, I don't know why that is such a turn off, because it literally made me, as a male, want to cross my legs and just totally retreat.
Yep.
But obviously I could see people watching and the fixation on their faces. And that was completely alien to me. And you obviously saying what you just said completely unravelled that in my head.
Yeah. It is really interesting, and it's really interesting that you've brought up that example, because I was thinking of an example of some media that I watched on my training, and I didn't verbalise it because I know that it's not for everybody, but a similar kind of thing. So if somebody came through your door, pardon the pun, then
my door's okay, as long as they keep the needles in the needle box. I'm okay with the doors. I don't mind the doors.
So if you were working, if you were in my role and somebody came through your door with that experience or that desire that they wanted to talk with you about or to explore, then the best point of call would be for you to have a really, really trustworthy network of other professionals. That I know John, he's the person you need, because it's not about get as many clients as you can.
Absolutely.
It's got to be the right coach.
It's because I have that bias there against, like you said, against that issue. So I'm not the right person to give an impartial coaching to. That makes complete sense. It's fascinating.
Yeah,
it's absolutely fascinating.
I'm interested to ask about, with the coaching, do you try to sort of break down the idea of labels? Because obviously one thing that happens a lot, especially with the lifestyle and everything else, is we put in little boxes. You're bi, or you're this, or you're that. Or do you find with the coaching, do the labels come into it, or is it more of a case of...
Do they help?
Yeah.
Are they help or hindrance, I guess?
That is a really good question, because I think they're both helpful and hindrance.
Okay.
To be honest, because I think as human beings, we do naturally kind of categorise.
Pigeonhole,
Yeah, so kind of sometimes it can help us make sense of a situation or make sense of a group of people.
Yeah.
Obviously, that can be very unhelpful sometimes. But in terms of when we're talking about orientation or sexual preference, that's very, very fluid for some people. Very, very fluid. And some people will absolutely categorically know, I am heterosexual. I'm an alpha man and I only want to be... And that's not mocking. That sounds very much like I was mocking. That was just an example. But they know very, very categorically the kind of people they're attracted to.
Yeah.
Whereas other people might not know.
Yeah.
It might be that might not actually matter to a person what somebody looks like visually. As a yoga teacher, I say, this is your meat suit.
Yeah.
This, I don't actually say it's a bit disgusting. That's actually disgusting. But this is, your body is the only place that you get to live. So actually it doesn't matter what it looks like from the outside.
Yeah.
And, there's multi-billion pound industry of beauty who would be absolutely
they would disagree
screwed.
with you. They would disagree with you strongly.
All of a sudden everybody would be like, oh my God, I'm fantastic, look at me. All these people would be out of work, to some people it might not matter what a person looks like, whether they've got blonde hair or brown hair or no hair. It might not matter to them whether they're packing a willy in their swimsuit or a vulva or something in between. Like, it doesn't matter to some people. For some people, it's a personality that attracts them. Or it might be their energy. It might be their intellect. You might have a person who's absolutely drop dead gorgeous, thick as pig shit, and can't hold a conversation. And for some people, that'd be like, absolutely not. So it's attraction is not really something you choose. You cannot choose it.
We have talked about this before on the podcast, and it's really interesting that when you do get into the lifestyle or the hobby, as we call it, attitudes do change, because obviously you've got
Did you get to know someone or
No, not necessarily, but because obviously we've done things in the beginning, we did home meets, and so it was all done through chatting, and you see a picture of somebody first and you think, oh yeah, I quite like the look of them, I'll chat to them, or oh no, I don't like the look of them, let's just move on. So when you then go to a club and you may be chatting to somebody who you wouldn't normally have chatted to, but you actually find that they're a really attractive person because of their personality or their demeanour or the way they can make you laugh or something. It's just do you know what I mean?
It can make it more difficult for guys who use sort of swinging social networks like Fab Swingers and Swing Hub, because like you said, they might not be typically fit, tick the boxes of being the classic, tall, dark and handsome guy, but and sort of working in a club, and obviously I've worked in clubs before, and the club owners will always say it's not the stereotypical tall, handsome guy that will attract the most women.
Right.
It's the most attractive person is confidence. Confidence is the most sexy thing we own.
It is, absolutely.
And you're right, it's absolutely the sexiest thing you can wear. It's kind of like going back to my burlesque kind of take on things. I've been in classes with people of all ages, of all sizes, and the body confidence in the room is absolutely insane. Walk into the room and, generally people go to these dance classes, to the nines in like stockings, suspenders, heels, full makeup, but you wouldn't necessarily think that they were the most confident person, but Jesus, body confidence is amazing. And like somebody that I know from a business setting that I'm thinking of, you would look at this person and, she's not your typical, size 10, size 12, long blonde hair, legs up to here, that kind of thing. Sex appeal on that woman, honestly. Absolutely. And it's an energy, to me, it's an energy thing. Like for me personally, that's an energy thing.
And likewise, I remember one particular occasion when we were at a party and someone was talking to us and they didn't even actually get changed in the public changing room.
No.
And I was like, are you shitting me? This person was stunning looking. She was a typical, pin-up girl. Are you shitting me?
That was amazing. It was.
And our perceptions of when we see people, I think we automatically have a perception of what their confidence level is.
Yes.
Right. And to me that speaks volumes. Another yoga pusher lesson. You just have no idea what battles someone's facing. Outwardly they might look really confident, they might look, can talk to anybody, blah 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 blah. You don't know what demons they're up against.
Yeah.
You don't know somebody's whole story. So to go back to your earlier point, Mrs. N, about, labels and pigeonholing, that's where it can be unhelpful.
Yeah.
Because we're having this assumption about, this character you just described, we're having an assumption about this person, but actually she might be, massively body conscious.
Yeah.
Some people, are affected by, eating problems or body dysphoria or something like that. So we just don't know. And the hashtag Be Kind Always, that kind of comes out when there's a tragedy, but we need to remember that all the time.
So Lee-Ann, I'm really interested now, because we just obviously, I know we've talked about the yoga, but not really as in how the yoga helps people. I mean, I embarrassingly have done a little bit of chair yoga. Yeah, you can. I know.
I'm not laughing.
But even that just small portion that I've had has made me understand about what a difference certain breathing exercises can do for you.
Yeah.
Stretching.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people wouldn't think. You think, oh no, it's nonsense, but it actually can have a massive effect on you, can't it?
Absolutely, it is, and it can be very, very profound. Like, if I had £1 for every person that said to me, I can't do yoga, I'm not bendy enough, I can't do yoga, I'm not young enough, I'm not stretchy enough, and all that business. If you have breath in your body, you can do yoga, because as you say, it's breathing exercises, and there are lots of elements of yoga that can help. It's not just about the yoga poses. So there are 8 limbs of yoga. One of them being the breathing, the physical postures, then there's the yamas and the niyamas, the philosophy of yoga. And see, the thing is, all of this stuff, even I'm not on my yoga mat right now, I'm thinking in yoga terms. Yeah. Even just that be kind. That's one of the yamas, which are kind of like 10 commandments of yoga. Okay. There are so many ways that actually it helps a person, even in bed. And I actually have a Yoga for Sex course available on my website.
That's cool. What is your website?
Okay. So I have a few of them. Okay. So I have my yoga website, which is All You Yoga, ALLYOU Yoga. .co.uk, and then I have my coaching website, which is my name, LEEANN Cordingley.co.uk. But I am struggling to think of any coaching session that I have been part of that yoga hasn't been there. Like, even to the degree of a female client really struggling to orgasm, like she's end of her tether, it's going on and it's on, all of a sudden she's really distracted. Breathing techniques, mindful techniques, bringing this person's attention back to one single point, whether that's the breath or whether it's the pinpointing sensation. Maybe you want to pinpoint the sensation in your vulva, or you might want to think about the feel of a leg or the smell of something to bring you back into that moment.
It's like being present to it, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I have to admit, I think there's probably quite a few women out there that do the same way. Our minds tend to wander.
Right, yeah.
I remember the very first time I had sex, when I lost my virginity when I was 18. My boss at the time, so I was 18, she was 22, and we were just having a conversation about...
It wasn't with her, though.
No, it wasn't with her.
No judgment,
sorry,
babe, honestly. No
sorry, darling.
It's just the way it came out.
She was obviously more experienced than me. Yeah. She was married and everything else. And I think she gave me the worst piece of advice ever, where it's like, you just lie back and think of England. And that, the trouble was, that was in my head.
But that's probably at that time very common.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking back in the 90s.
Yeah.
But this is kind of like a throwback from, however old this is, that sex is just for men.
Yeah.
Or sex is just for procreation. We're only going to have sex to have a baby, which it's come from a religious construct.
Yeah.
And so indirectly we get this message that, sorry, I say we as in females.
Yeah.
We get this message that the sex isn't for me, so it doesn't matter. lie back and think of England.
Yeah.
So in that scenario, mindful techniques, if you're used to practicing meditation, mindfulness and all those things outside, it will be far easier to come into it when you need it.
Yeah.
Other areas that I've used yoga in my sex coaching sessions, had an example. I was working with a female client who wasn't fully physically able to hold a vibrator dildo. She was challenged physically with mobility issues. So, I rocked up with my yoga mat and my bolster and my pillows, and we found lots of different positions for her to masturbate in that were a lot more accessible for her.
Amazing.
I don't know, yoga positions like, cowgirl or something like that. There are definitely yoga poses that can strengthen your inner thighs and your hips, because, there's only so long you can stand there.
Oh, I'm terrible.
It takes a lot of stamina,
It does, which I have none.
and even for, if you're a man, like even the thrusting, that takes a lot of work, It's hard work.
Yeah.
There's lots of ways that yoga can come into it. Again, pardon the pun. But even the philosophy on it.
Yeah.
One of the yamas is kindness and contentment, non-stealing. So stealing from your own power. Catching your reflection in the mirror. Oh, look at the size of my arse. Oh my God, I've got to go on a diet. So you're stealing from yourself. Stop doing it. That's
so true. That's so true.
As human beings, we are the world's worst at criticising ourselves, aren't we?
Right. And I think the way I kind of process it is that we're very often thinking of worst case. What's the worst possible scenario for this? So we can it's almost like a self-preservation thing.
We create stories in our own head.
Right. Yeah. Right. So I do bring yoga into most sessions, even if people aren't that aware, or if I'm working with a guy that is perhaps having an issue with early ejaculation. Breathing techniques, pelvic floor techniques.
So a guy can do pelvic floor?
Yes.
I didn't know this.
You've learned something new, Mr. N, haven't you?
And this is the thing, right? Women are far more used to being poked and prodded about downstairs.
Oh, yeah.
We're kind of used to it.
Yeah.
So lots of people would struggle to isolate their pelvic floor muscle. So just for context, just so that audience knows, the pelvic floor in a man, it's in the same place, but pelvic floor in a male body is the band of muscles that sits between the testicles, the scrotum, and the anus. So if you can take your attention there, actually do it now. Do it now, Mr. N. Okay. So sit both feet on the floor. If you've got your legs crossed, sit both feet on the floor.
Flat.
Both feet flat on the floor, and kind of have a bit of a shuffle so you can feel your bony bit. So you're kind of like that. And so imagine that area there now. Take a deep breath in and imagine that area being soft. And then when you breathe out, imagine lifting that area up away from the chair. So you're not actually moving, but it's an internal movement.
Okay.
So as you breathe out, the area lifts up, and as you breathe in, the area gets soft and lowers down. So this is a misconception that as young women, perhaps you might have heard this before, Mrs. N, that as young women, we need to have strong, tight pelvic floor muscles.
Absolutely, yeah.
Mrs. N knows this well. Mrs. N suffered with oversensitive nerve endings.
Right,
for years and years.
So I developed in my early 20s damaged nerve endings of the vulva.
Right.
Which took 15 years to be diagnosed. They just thought it was constant water infections after water infection. It gradually obviously got worse and worse to the point where I was so sensitive I couldn't wear underwear.
Oh my gosh.
And then I got transferred to the most amazing specialist called Dr. Tincello, who was just phenomenal. And he didn't even have to examine me. He just knew from how I described it, he knew exactly what the problem was. Obviously, I had this problem when I met Mr. N, and I'd just come out of a 12-year relationship, 10-year marriage, where it had broken down because I hadn't had sex for 2 years because it was just too painful. Mr. N is just amazing. He researches, he reads, and we went through loads of things, didn't we? Because if I got poorly, he would get really upset. He felt responsible. He'd hate seeing me in pain.
It's the worst thing ever. You have sex with someone that you love, and then Mr. N then could get a water infection because of it.
Yeah.
So, because the inside's kind of bruised.
Yeah.
And so you feel like you have done that to the person. So for me, then that definitely sculpted how I have sex now. Because it's like I will constantly, obviously we're in the lifestyle, but I know that I will be more gentle because of 15 years of that.
Yeah.
But with the whole the pelvic floor thing, we didn't know that, we kind of discovered this together, that a lot of it was mental. In my head, I was like, I'm in pain, and obviously everything tightens
of course,
up.
Absolutely.
And so I had to learn to be able to release that by doing exactly what you've just described. And as soon as I could release the tension there, and almost like a spasm that it would go into, I could start to enjoy sex again.
Yeah. Oh, well, bravo you. Because this is the thing, like, I remember being very young, probably 18, 20, and just having this awareness that girls had to have really strong pelvic floor muscles to be any good at sex.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I mean, I'm also an experienced pregnancy yoga teacher as well, so helping women prepare for birth and postnatal yoga as well. So we're thinking about the physical rehabilitation afterwards. And the training that I was lucky enough to attend, some of it was taught by midwives, which was fascinating. And basically they were saying that people that really, really fit, strong ballerinas and really, really powerhouse muscles and really, really strong pelvic floor muscles, they're the ones that are going to have trouble, or more trouble, when they come to having a birth experience, because your pelvic floor, yes, it's a muscle, and yes, we need it to hold in all the good stuff that's in our abdomen. We also need it to soften so that we can breathe properly. And if you're a female and you want to use your birth canal so it can move.
Wow,
it's fascinating. The body is fascinating.
I didn't know guys could do it. I had no idea until this minute.
And pelvic floor mobility, which is what we're talking about, functional mobility, that's going to improve perhaps quality or power of ejaculation.
Okay.
Because that's the muscle that's kind of underneath where the testicles are. It's also next door to the prostate. So it's your stuff as well. And this is what I mean, like everything I do contains an element of re-education. Like, these are your bodies. I'm absolutely shit at guessing people's ages. So let's just say you're 35.
I'll do.
I'll take that.
So let's just say you've been living in these bodies for 35 years, and we're only just knowing it.
Yeah.
And this is equipment that we have for pleasure.
It's interesting, isn't it? It's our bodies, but in reality, the majority of us don't know how to use it properly.
Right, yeah. And so imagine, right, you and I have grown up in, female bodies. Yeah. And, we don't know everything about our own bodies for the most part. And then a guy comes along who's got his own equipment, and we're expecting him to know exactly how to work our buttons. Yeah. It's insane. Yeah. Like, if we don't talk about it, and if we don't avail ourselves of resources and knowledge, how are we going to operate these complicated joysticks? It's insane. So that's very much in a nutshell about my why, because we have these amazing bodies. And to your earlier point about get yourself stressed or get yourself in your head, which many people do, men as well, because as soon as you think, oh no, my boner's gone, that's it, it's gone, it's not coming back. I mean, I don't have that equipment, but that's why,
we've been through this before. I'm very open, because when we did the podcast, the whole thing of the podcast is to help people. And obviously then the events came from that. But when we initially did the podcast, it was to help people. And
it was always about honesty as well, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was always about the good, bad and the ugly, just so people had the tools that they needed to be able to navigate and where they wanted to go.
All sorts of things go through my head when you go to a playroom. sometimes I'm worried, like I've become desensitized to it because we've obviously held a lot of events, and then you get into your own head and you think, oh shit, nothing's happening at all down there. And I think that's one of the things where the community is so amazing, because we've obviously got close friends. Our crew, Busty and Saucy, who you probably saw on Purple Mamba. So one of our good friends, so I said to Saucy, I'm like, yeah, I'm worried. And he's like, mate, get out of your own head. And he told me he'd been there. And it's not until other people tell you that it's a common situation, and then that made me relax a little bit, and then I was fine.
Yeah.
But not everybody has that community network that they can go to.
Right.
So I think kind of the service that you offer, that's freaking amazing.
Yeah, and that's my why, Mr. N, honestly, because exactly to your point, not everybody has someone that they can say to, do you know what, I'm having a real thing going on at the moment. Because the fact of the matter is, everybody will have some kind of a hiccup with their sex life or with their sexual expression at some point in their life. And the old adage, a problem shared is a problem halved, and it really does seem to be like that, because we just want to know that we're not weird. Don't we?
Yeah.
And honestly, that is one of the first things that if I have a new client, or if somebody tells me something new, I will instantly say, right, you're not weird. Yeah. Right? I'm not running out the door screaming, oh my God! That just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Because you're not telling me that there's 8.5 billion people in the world, and you're the only person this has ever happened to.
Yeah.
It's going to have happened for somebody else. It's going to be an issue for somebody else. And, we're living in an age where we are coming off the back of some absolutely fantastic research study. I'm talking about things like, people like Masters and Johnson, people like Alfred Kinsey, who undertook these first studies into sexology. Quite against the grain. That wasn't the done thing. Like people with in the 30s, 40s, 50s, sometimes were even being arrested or beaten or for their sexual expression. And we've got this wealth of knowledge, and it's about being open and leaving the judgment at the door. Because we all want to enjoy our bodies. We all want to have fun. We all want to have pleasure in a safe, healthy, happy way, and all for it.
That's awesome.
It's been so fascinating listening to you. I feel like I've learned so much in such a short space of time, but it's kind of made me feel I really want to know more and learn more. Well, it is fascinating. I mean, I'm quite a keen writer, and I try and blog as often as I can. So I've got some resources on my website. You're welcome if you want to go on there. You're welcome if you want to guest blog for me.
Tell us your website again.
Yeah, sure. It's Lee-Ann, that's Leeann Cordingley, which is CORDINGLEY.co.uk.
We'll put that in our program notes. So
fantastic. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
It's absolutely. I think what you offer is just absolutely invaluable. Invaluable. It's taken us the best part of 20 years to understand as much as we have. We're still learning every day.
Absolutely.
But for I just think it's invaluable. Amazing.
Thank you. I've really enjoyed the conversation, and just the openness and honesty, and the stupid jokes I keep cracking. Thanks for your patience. I just think, you have
heard Mr. N's jokes on a regular basis.
Yes.
Leave my jokes alone. That's amazing. And I say, you never know. Hopefully, we could work together again in the future and some projects and stuff. I think the work you do is absolutely amazing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Thank you, my darling.